I'm back on the Pennine Way again after a few weeks rest. I'm starting again from where I left off, just near Marsden. But it's coming towards the end of October and it is windy. Yeah, it's windy and very chilly day. M62. Start heading much further north into England. This also makes a little turning point because right now, as soon as I start walking, I'll have left the Peak District National Park. So I won't be in a national park again until Gargrave, where I'm going to be in the Yorkshire Dales National Park. Pretty cold outside, so I'm going to get walking and get myself warmed up. Hopefully I can't be here when I come to collect the resting on this dry stone wall, right out that, even though I'm kind of up here, not sure about, there is actually a canal beneath my feet, a few hundred feet down, Kirkley something canal. Obviously decade. I think it's recently reopened for check out one day. A few miles of tunnel and a canal barge, which should be quite fun. But my task today is to keep on walking in this horrible wind. Heading up there to the M62. As well as still being extremely windy, it started to rain on me for a little bit, but my body's warmed up now, so I'm getting pretty used to it. But I'm glad it's only going to be a short day for me, with hopefully a pub lunch at some point. So let's continue on up there. Well, it's been raining on me heavy now. I've got my waterproofs on. Got my waterproof on my bag. About 2 miles. Hopefully I'll manage to keep going. I'll put the camera in before I get too wet. I'm coming up to the communication tower here, the M62. I can just see traffic from the motorway just down there. Now, when I first did the Pennine Way in 2000, I set off with 2 other people. One of them dropped out the second morning. We got lost over a leak flow. I didn't feel like continuing. I continued with one more person, and we got to Reservoir. And it just rained and rained, and we weren't wearing enough waterproofs. We weren't really prepared, the tents were too heavy. So we got to this communication mast, and that's when my mum picked us up and we went home. And then about 2 weeks passed, and then I got dropped off here alone, and I finished the rest of the Pennine Way. Except this time I was going into youth hostels every night, and I was having much better pub meals, so I wasn't carrying a heavy tent. But driving up communication tower with my mum, and I was fairly young at the time, only 16 and 17, and I knew that I was going to spend another almost 3 weeks by myself. It was very nerve-wracking just seeing that tower and knowing that's what This is the M62 motorway. It's a motorway that crosses the Pennines. And you want to go to Manchester, to Leeds. Now this is the route you'll take. It's fairly busy for a Sunday. this is the Aiggins Stone. It's medieval and it was a waymark for people to find the path. It's about 600 years old. I'm on where where I'm going to finish for the day. We're on the halfway point, and then I'm going to have to start heading back because it's going to get dark in just a few hours now. This is a Roman road, so where I'm stood now, people have been using this as a path for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. Well, it's cold and wet outside, but I have some food in this pub.
Orange and passion fruit.
Well, I've had a lovely meal of rump steak and chips, but it's time to go back out in that horrible cold weather and walk for about 3 hours back to Marsden. So, nice and warm, not as dry as I want to be, but I've got to get going before it gets dark, so let's keep on going. It's been a long day, and as you can see, it's still very windy! Maybe just 20 minutes more walking. Very, very windy on the road. That's me along, and it's probably the windiest day of walking I've ever had. I'm back in my car now. I'm very, very wet. Kind of cold, but might have my horrible boots, and I wish I'd brought a change of socks. I think I'm going to go home and have a bath now.